And we are live. Welcome to
Yeah, we are.
another episode of the Comedians of Entre Nos live.
Yeah.
You guys know my co-host right there, the super hilarious Orlando Leyba, who,
Yeah,
by the
man.
way, half-hour special
Yeah.
streaming now on HBO Max. Adorable.
Hey, I'm not high though.
Yeah, what's
I'm
going?
not.
Do you look like you're a little under the weather? What's happening?
Oh man, I got a kidney stone, son.
What?
Yeah, I'm passing a kidney stone, and they gave me antibiotics for the infection because the kidney stones cause an infection, and like they
Damn.
make my eyes so red, so I'm with like Visine and whatnot. So
I'm sorry to
I'm a
hear that. Is it
man.
painful? Because I keep hearing it's painful. I've never had one.
Yeah, it's super
Not
painful. Yeah,
not going wood.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
going.
yeah. It's super painful.
What?
I've
How
had.
do you? What did you feel? Where you were like, I got? Did you know it was a kidney stone, or did you have to go to the doctor? Like, hey, these
Oh,
are the symptoms.
I know. I suffer from them. I suffer from them.
Oh,
I've had three surgeries because they've been so big that they've had to go up my tool and like
uh,
blast them and put a stent in so I could pass them out, which is dope because when they do that, I get huge. Like, you know what I mean? I huge, and then I take pictures of it. I take pictures of it, and then I save them in a special file. If ever my wife leaves me, I send her those pictures. Like, yo,
you sending those? You sending
you know
the
what I'm saying?
post surgery?
Remember what you were missing. You know what I mean? So I already have like the system. So the way that it goes back pain. So it looks
Uh-huh.
like back pain. But as you know, I was also moving, so it could have. I was emptying out the storage unit,
Right.
so it could have been that the back pain was from that. But then I felt back pain, and then I start getting real tired throughout the days,
It sounds
and
like
I was just like,
pregnancy, dude. That was my wife.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Pregnancy?
yeah.
Ah, my bad.
Then it was like I was just like, okay. So let me go to the emergency room. So I went
Uh-huh.
to this fantastic emergency room. Everything's very organized. You know, I was like, I was at first I was worried
Uh-huh.
because you know the COVID, and you're going to the emergency room. Usually I go with my wife, and then I was just like, nah, stay home. I'll go and pan it out and see how it is. And but all the emergency rooms are very organized. There was COVID
Right.
patients there, but they come in through a different entrance. They, you know, the whole nine.
Right.
Everything's sealed and everything. I don't know how good it is, but I
Right.
felt somewhat safe. You know what I mean?
You felt safe.
So
Well, that's good.
yeah. So
That's
now I'm
good.
on
What?
antibiotics, and they make my eye red and like they burn my eyes burn, and I was like, man, I'm gonna get on today, and people are gonna think that um,
Well,
Erik
after our
and I
last
really,
episode.
yeah, the Erik and me are really going in on this cannabis lifestyle. You know what I'm
After
saying?
last episode, we figured it out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm excited
Yo,
about today's show, man.
yeah,
I'm
I am
excited.
too. Dude.
I'm
I am
excited.
too. Yes, I am.
We've got two OGs in the game coming in, which
Yeah.
guys you look up to, and you're grateful for opening the doors for guys like us. But
Yeah,
before we get into all that,
I couldn't even find the right words. I could on my social media, I called them OGs,
uh,
and certain people get confused. They're like OGs, original gangsters, original. I'm like, man, OG to me just means like walking amongst us,
yeah,
people that are legends. They might not be a legend to you, but they're a legend to me.
yeah.
They open the doors for me
I
without
hate
them
using,
even knowing.
dude. I hate using words like legend and vet because I feel like
Uh
I had a comic a comic recently when I was at the Laugh Factory before COVID. Younger dude, he's like, "Yo, I'm so great to meet you. I'm just blessed to meet a vet."
Superficial. Listen, so these guys are legends. You know what I mean?
uh,
These two dudes are legend. They opened the door for you and for me without
yeah,
them even knowing us.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But before we bring them in, we got some family good news. I want to shout this dude out. I don't know if you got to see this.
No.
One of our own, one of the family members, got nominated for an Imagen Award.
Yeah.
Jerry Garcia
Wow.
is now
Look
my
at that,
weekend.
man.
He is
Oh
up
man.
there, dude. He's best variety live. Like, dude, I'm so excited for him. I know
There
he
you
hasn't
go.
posted yet because I think he's waiting for the publicity packet of it all. But I wanted to
Uh huh.
share with everybody a win for the family, man.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
100%. We're excited about it, man. I am so excited about that.
Yeah. So let's get to it, man. Let's bring these dudes in. I'm super excited. This first dude we got on the show. Before I even give his official credit, like he's one of the first dudes I linked up with when I first moved to LA. He showed me around. He got me on his show. He was running the Latino night at the Laugh Factory. Fellow Puerto Rican. He is one of the original Latin kings of comedy. Give it up, Joey Medina.
What's up, Joey?
I know I'm listening to you guys say OG and legend. I'm like, please don't say old. Please don't say old. That's the one thing I'm like, don't say the word old. But thanks, you didn't.
But do you like Orlando says I'm superficial, but when you hear those words, like that's what you think, right?
Because I had but you know, you get it. Like the funny thing though is that it doesn't matter if you started comedy a week ago or you've been doing the comedy for 30 years. You're always hustling and you're always still doing the same things you were doing before. So when you hear that, you're like, oh yeah, you have to think about it like for a while. Because to me, there's no difference. It's just still working hard, still doing the same thing. Yeah. You know, I tend to be a little lazier where I don't go out to the clubs as much. You know, I don't do that kind of stuff, but and I focus on other things as well. But it's like, it doesn't matter what stage in your comedy career you're in, you're still hustling, you're still trying to do well.
Right.
Still trying, you know, so it is what it is.
Dude, it's hilarious.
But your hustle is fantastic. I can tell your hustle is fantastic, not just by your body of work, but also that refrigerator behind you. Is that a touch screen? That is a touch screen, my brother. That is a touch screen fridge.
Play Pandora and all that shit.
That's what makes me laugh. It makes me laugh that Joey even say, you know, I'm getting lazy because I'm not going out to the club. But every time I run into Joey, he's like, yo, check this thing I directed. Yo, check out this thing I produced. Oh, look at this thing I shot. Like this dude is like legit. When you hear the word creator, that's Joey. Like Joey is really on something.
But you guys know the same thing, man. It's like you can. It's like anything else in life. You can try over and over again. You could direct 100 shorts, win 100 awards and nothing, or you can do one dumb TikTok video and blow up. You're like, who knows how it works, man?
Right.
And you just got to do what you're passionate about and you feel right about. Like I don't know how to direct something like on TikTok or whatever. I mean, it doesn't, like my brain doesn't work like little like that, like this tiny. And when I say little, I don't mean in a bad way. I mean like it takes a certain talent to make a short video that's really popular. You know what I mean? And I don't do that yet. I'm still like thinking a story and this and that, and it's just like it's so aggravating. I got to start hanging out with like 18-year-olds so I can figure out what the hell they're doing, man.
Dude, TikTok is 13-year-olds. It's not even 18. 18, it goes by age. So 18 and is like Instagram. Then apparently parents are on Facebook, and nobody's even on MySpace no more.
Well, I'm still on there, but I'm fading out.
Also on the show, speaking of creators, this dude, I want to like he pretty much shaped the Latin comedy scene to what it is today. He's creator, Emmy award-winning producer of Que Locos. Big round of applause for Mike Robles, everybody.
Hey, what's up, man? Nice to be here.
Thanks for coming in, man. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great, bro. I'm doing great, man. So happy to be here on Entre Nos, where I have two new jacks here who are taking over the scene now.
We trying, man. We trying.
Yeah, you're doing it, man. I can't think of any two guys better to carry that torch than both you, Erik, and my man Leyba over here, man.
Hey.
That's nice, but don't say that too loud. That's when my taxes start changing.
You got to say it now. You know what I learned a long time ago, bro? If you don't say it yourself, nobody's gonna say it for you. That's why with Que Locos, it's the 20th anniversary. 20 years, bro. And it's had an impact that people still, hey, I remember Que Locos, and their grandchildren, and it's like, wow. But there really was no cheerleaders talking about Que Locos, so sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader. That's my point.
Right.
There you go.
So now, how did the whole concept of Que Locos come about? Because were you looking to produce or create a platform like this? Because you're also a stand-up comedian, so you were doing comedy. Yeah. You saw there was a need for it. So, like, how did this all come about for you?
Well, I was sitting at my home there in the South Bronx, and I'm flipping through the channels, and I'm looking at BET, and I see the black comedians, Comedy Central, white comedians. So I said to myself, we have no Latino representation. So, you know, BronxNet is a local cable station there in the Bronx. I just put up my pants, my clothes. I ran there and said, how would you guys like to do a show? And it was a variety show, comedy variety show. And that was the beginning for me. You know, I started showcasing Latino comedians, mostly out of New York, like Angelo Lozada, Sarah Contreras, Roberto Vanderpool. And that just took me to the Carolines. Carolines took me to Gallery And at the time, Gallery had a show. I don't know if you remember Funny is Funny.
No, I don't remember that show.
Yeah, that's how back we go. Anyway, it was very popular, but I think when it came to negotiating, they were asking for way too much money. And Television came calling Mike Robles, who had his comedy rumor show. And like I say, the rest is history. But for me, it was always about creating a platform for Latinos to springboard off from. It was never about me. If you notice, I only hosted a few Que Locos episodes. I could have hosted every one. But it was more about showcasing Latinos and letting the whole world know that there's more comedians out there besides Paul Rodriguez, George Lopez, and at the time, Carlos Mencia. So,
right.
Yeah, so that's what got me started.
So now you said you started back in New York. You were working with New York comics, you know, Sarah Contreras, Angelo Lozada, you know, God rest his soul. How did you then expand it to the West Coast? Because I started in New York. I always felt like there was a divide between the two coasts a couple of years back. Like now, as of recent with podcasts and social media, I feel like we're all starting to come together. But back then, how did you even connect those two coasts?
Back then, I started it at the comic strip in New York City. We got good ratings, Que Locos out of New York City. And I started thinking it's a numbers game. You know, on the West Coast, you know, there's 3 times more Latinos than in New York. I just moved it to the Ice House. The ratings doubled, tripled.
Wow.
Just by that move. So it was a numbers game, basically. And also, it cost me less money as far as flying comedians from LA to New York when I had them all in LA. So it was great. It was a great move. But that's how we took it to the West Coast. And that's where I think Que Locos then became history, man. And
so now,
of course, you know, longer careers than many people as well. So,
so now is there? So you just said 20th anniversary. Is there a big comeback tour or something once this is all said and done? Is there a big show? Because I know we saw on Netflix did the Def Jam anniversary show. Is there anything like that in the works for Que Locos?
Well, it's planning for a big show for the 20th anniversary for this COVID virus, you know. So that's on hold. I put a little small one to get the Ice House, you know, with Paul Rodriguez hosted and so on. But as far as bringing the show back, probably not. Sometimes you can't mess with a masterpiece, you know. You just can't do it. Just got to let it alone. Then you wind up messing it up. You know, I always say Que Locos is the often, what is it? Duplicated or imitated, but never duplicated. Yeah. And a lot of people tried 20 years. I think the last one actually was Gabriel Iglesias' Stand-Up Revolution. And how did that turn out? He had Comedy Central and who else? Social media behind him, and that thing tanked faster than the Titanic. So it just goes to show you how strong Que Locos was.
I think too. Also, one of the things that I think for some weird reason, Latin talent and Latin products take a lot longer for some reason to make it. You know what I mean? It's they're not looked upon the same way, and I don't know why that is necessarily. I have different theories, but it's you know, everybody here on this panel knows every year it's like, oh, it's the year of the Latins, the year of the Latins, the year of the Latins. You know, HBO is doing the thing with you guys, and which is amazing and shot well and looks great and everyone's killing. But I think it all deserves more. Like it deserves more. You know, when I did when I did the Latin Kings of Comedy, which was amazing. It was in theaters. It did so well. It was one of the top selling DVDs. It did real well. And I remember thinking, okay, we need something on top of that. We need to do something on top of that. And you know, we already did Que Locos. We had the local comedy jam, and that's when I came up with that Latin Palooza. You know, and Latin Palooza was my thing of saying, look, there's better Latin not better Latin comics, but there's more Latin comics out there that are really great and production really good. And then that did okay, but it didn't do what I wanted it to do. And it's just like for some reason, I think I don't know if it's, and again, I'm exaggerating, but it's like, I don't know if Hollywood is saying, okay, here's a little bit for you. and then let's move on. Let's give somebody else. And I just think we as Latinos need to produce our own things, make our own things, and make things so good that people can't deny it. You know, and to do something like what like a person who I admire so much, and it's not for the comedy, and it is obviously for comedy, but it is Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart produces, and his team produces. All his friends have a purpose. Like some of them are writers, some of them are directors, some of them are producers, and he helps them get their goals, their shows done. And he has a little bit of everything. And I think that's kind of what we need to do, because too many times on these Latin projects, we're by ourselves, man. We got one person leading the pack, and that's it. Maybe, you know, he's bringing up other people, you know, like for instance, with you guys on your show, it's Edwin. Edwin's doing a masterful job, an amazing fucking job. But that's it. It's just him. You know, we need to do more things to bring up more people. And then once we're up, we need to grab other Latinos by the arm. Come on, let's go. And then they need to bring somebody else. And once we start doing stuff like that, we'll start becoming even more successful.
See, and to jump on that, Joey, you know, it's a good point. It's like what they call throwing ropes. You're in a position, you know, up there. If you can throw ropes, throw a rope. So like you mentioned Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart has thrown many ropes. Tiffany Haddish, many ropes. You know, George Lopez and Gabriel Iglesias are in a position where they can throw ropes, and they haven't. And I asked them right now, why haven't you thrown a rope, Gabriel? Why haven't you thrown a rope, George Lopez? You know, Que Locos is what launched you. Throw a rope to other Latinos, whether it's Joey, whether it's Erik Rivera. You know, it doesn't matter. Throw a rope. But see, that's what it is for Latinos. We don't support each other. You know, we think we're in Muskingong and nobody else deserves to be up there. And like Joey said, Latino comedy will never be like BET or anything like that because we don't support each other. We're going to slide in one at a time, like Joey said. One at a time.
I'll chime in on that one because, like, me and Erik, we're heavy into like promoting each other and other people that we see are have that talent. And both Erik and myself, we've co-signed for other comics that maybe Edwin wasn't looking at them. Edwin Licona, he's a grown man on TikTok. Edwin wasn't looking at them, right? And Edwin might have been looking at them, but they were somewhere else on the list. Me and Edwin have had this conversation. One of the positive things about Entre Nos is that, to some people, it might be a drop in the bucket, but it's a constant drop in the bucket. The way that he set it up, it's always been like Orlando comes out, Erik comes out, right. Nick Guerra comes out. Right. First, it was like the showcase type of format. So to that being also said, we do need, Mike, we do need you to do a 20 years Que Locos because that'll be another drop in the bucket. And we do need Joey to come back and bring up La Lusa again because there'll be another drop in the bucket. So that bucket overfills and then they just can't stop it because it's constantly there's someone else pouring out, you know?
Well, you know, I have my unfinished masterpiece, which is Local Comedy Jam, which Joey helped me with that. Joey helped me produce Local Comedy Jam. That's my unfinished masterpiece because I don't think I gave it all the attention like I did Que Locos. So maybe I'll bring that one back, the next generation. And that's, you know, I'm glad you brought it up.
But, you know, I also think, though, Orlando's like, you know, you say drop in a bucket. I think they're way more than drop in the buckets. I think they're really, first of all, they got the HBO name, which is the, it's not like you're like, you know, you're getting some Fuse or some other thing like that, and not that would be bad, but HBO name makes people go, oh, okay, this is different, it's better quality. Right. If you know that piece of furniture came from IKEA or came from some rich place in Melrose, you're like, oh, the rich place in Melrose is going to be better furniture than IKEA. Right? So it's kind of like that. So I think that they're really.
But if you grab that IKEA furniture and you take your time to put it together correctly, it will last you a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? If you just take your time to look at the drawings, just look at the drawings. They're not even words; they're drawings.
Orlando is a gold member at IKEA, guys. Don't come after IKEA.
But the funny thing is like I really do think, like when Latin comedy started really happening, and it was before Paul and Freddie Prinze and George, because that really wasn't Latin comedy. they were Latin comics in comedy, but there wasn't Latin comedy. Latin comedy came on after. Latin comedy really came on with Que Locos and Local Comedy Jam. That's when people were like, oh, there's more than 3, right?
Yeah.
And then people were just paying attention, and it was a funny thing when Que Locos was out. It was on a all Spanish network, but it was the only English speaking show.
Got a show.
People were still attracted to it, but white people were watching it. You know what I mean? It was a really popular show. And then what was happening that I noticed is every Latin comic in the beginning, we almost did all the same material, all of us. My tia, my tío, my this, da, and that's okay. But then I got to see after a while comics being different, talking about very individualized. And now that made me the happiest because I'm like, we're all different. We don't have to do the tortilla jokes. We don't, and me included. I did it too. We don't have to do those things. We can talk about different stuff. You know, we can go now to. I've been to several other countries. I'm the first American to headline Vietnam. So it's, you know what I mean. So it's like, I don't have to pander to anybody. Now, obviously, if I do a Latin crowd or I do a Latin show or a Latin thing, I'm going to pander a little more to that, just like you do anything else, right? But I think Latin comedians now have really evolved. But back to what we were talking about earlier is, and like what you're saying, you guys back each other up, and that's good. But I'm talking about in big levels. I'm talking about kind of what Edwin's doing. Edwin is doing exactly what I'm saying people should do, right? Mm-hmm. He's bringing Latino comics up in a bigger way. Not to me, they're more than a drop in a bucket. I think the shows are done well. They look great. The comics are all good. Nobody's shitty, right? There's one guy, but I'm not gonna say who it is. Let me kid. I don't. No, but the thing is, we need to do more of that. We need more Edwins. You know, we need more Mikes. We need more people that come up and start making products, whether it's a sitcom, whether it's a comedy special, whether it's a film, whatever it is. But we need to bring each other up a lot more. We need to do Latin projects that aren't necessarily Latin projects. Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, to play devil's advocate, I know you're saying we need to produce more stuff and we need to do this and do that and the other, like even sitcoms. Mm-hmm. How are we expecting these guys to throw the rope back when they're not even getting the shots? Like, how many sitcoms do we have on network TV right now, or even on cable or streaming?
You're right.
I disagree. I think some of they're not throwing the rope back, but they can. You know what I mean? The same way Kevin Hart does, the same way other people do.
Okay, now, so devil's advocate, Joey.
Let me jump on it. Can I jump on this right here?
Who do we have at the Kevin Hart level? Because Kevin is global. Kevin is huge.
Have you heard of George Lopez? As far as Latino comedy,
and not a knock on George, because I think the world of George is no Kevin Hart. He's not at the Kevin Hart level.
No. I'm talking as far as where you saying throwing a rope. You're going to tell me that George Lopez or Gabriel Iglesias is not in a position where they can throw you or me a rope? You're mistaken, bro. They are. I would say, look at the Lopez Tonight show. How many Latino stand-ups did he have on that show? How many roles did he take Latino comedians?
I know he had Felipe on there, Angela.
Yeah. Go ahead. How many? 2, 3? Come on, bro. Gabriel Iglesias. Where's his rope? He's got to show Mr. Iglesias, right? I know a lot of comedians who are walking on with parts. I haven't seen all Latinos. All I'm saying, the point I'm making, Erik, is the fact that they are in a position that can throw a rope. That's what I'm saying, and they haven't thrown the rope. Now, you said, how could it happen, when we don't have many?
Yeah.
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? You do it one brick at a time. Because when I throw you that rope, you're going to pass it on. And someone else is going to pass it on. And the next thing you know, we're there. That's the way it works. And can we do that slogan? One rope at a time.
See, but the thing is this, Mike, is one of the problems with it, and I totally understand what you're saying, but one of the problems with that is that because someone like, for instance, Gabriel or George in that position, I would love, they're definitely in a position to create other shows, to help other people move up. Totally. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe they do it in small ways, putting people on their show, bringing people on the road, but they may not be, inside a producer. They may not be. So we need people, whether they're the entertainers or not, we need people who are producers to produce.
Yeah, but Joey, you don't need to be a producer to throw somebody a rope. You just have to have a good heart.
Well, you kind of have to be a producer, because if you want somebody to produce your show, something like if you want that Gabe to be like Kevin Hart and produce stuff for his friends, Gabe's got to be in the mindset of being a producer.
Well, that's not my point. My point is, you don't have to be a producer to throw somebody a rope. In other words, even if you're not a producer, I can throw you a rope, Eric. If I'm in a position up here, I happen to be a successful stand-up comedian. I can throw you a rope. I don't have to be a producer.
So, all right. So
I can throw you the rope. So now I can introduce you to my producer.
What kind of rope would a Gabe throw? Because Gabe, to me, is
any
global.
young comedian like yourself, for example. Maybe give you a little walk-on part. I think you're qualified to do a walk-on part. That's a little low.
But you know, it's not his final call. He's got producers. He's got a name to. He's got Netflix. He's got to answer to.
Let me tell you something. Maybe that's the way we think. If Mike Robles let me tell you something. If Mike Robles has his show, I'm the star of my show. I'm going to do what I want to do. They need me more than I need them. I'm a star, Eric. So you got to think like one. I'm a big star. No road for Erik Rivera. I'm gonna be in a bad mood the rest of this season. You guys, trust me when I tell you this, bro. Don't underestimate yourself.
All right. So then, if you're gonna play that card of being the star and it's got to go my way, what's to say the network doesn't go? It's too much of a headache. Canceled. Well, because we've seen it before. Roseanne was a headache. They were like, she brought in big ratings, but we're good.
But you know what? I'm not gonna throw a rope to someone who's gonna cause a headache, bro. I'm not that stupid. If you're a headache,
you putting your foot down on a show and going, this guy has to walk on. If
I truly believe in that individual, and I know that individual along the way, we helped each other. Yes, I'll throw a rope for you because we work together. We helped. Listen, you and Orlando together. You get a show. Are you not going to try to throw Orlando a rope?
Nah, he's not.
Okay, well then that answers the question.
Not with them kidney stones. I can't have that guy. With all those penis pictures in his phone, I can't have him around.
Right. Well, you're going to try everything you possibly can to throw him a rope, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's
what I'm saying.
To me, it's all about like I do think Gabriel throws those types of ropes. I do. I think that everybody he brings on the road with him are Latin, right? He does have Latinos on the show, but my thing. But I know what you're talking about. Like, see, my thing is this. Someone like Gabriel literally can say, you know what, I want to produce another show on another network for somebody else. I don't even have to be in it. I want to produce. See, that's the thing. But Gabriel may not be that. He may not want to. That may not be his thing. He's like, I'm not a producer. I like being on the road. I like doing my little sitcom, and that's it. That's what I want to do.
He just had that revolution. He just had that revolution and that bomb.
We need more. What we need is more producers. We need more Latin producers. And whether they're a comedian or not, we need more Latin producers who want to produce things that are Latin, that aren't too Latin, that people are not going to watch. See, that's one problem as a filmmaker. I'm in film festivals all the time. I put all my stuff in film festivals. And none of my stuff, even the sitcom that I made about myself, it was almost all Latin, wasn't about being Latin. Because I don't think that's the way to go. I think we've done that already. We've done all those things, a Latin this, a Latin that, a Latin version this, Latin. Now we just need to be more like Robert Rodriguez and just make great stuff with a lot of Latin people in it and just let it be great for what it is. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong. Who the hell knows, right? But the thing is, that's the point I want. I want to be at the place where once I create something, I want to use that momentum to create more things, to do more things. Even if I'm not part of it, if I sell it or whatever, I just want to create more things. And that's just getting that one thing is really hard. When I did Latinapalooza, it was really great. CAA picked it up. It picked it up. They loved it. Everybody did well. We just would do one take and we did it right. And but the problem was it was right at the time where everybody was looking for the visual shows, not a variety, not a combined show with a bunch of comics. And so it did well. We sold a lot of copies. It was in Walmart. It was in Target. It did well, but it just didn't get to the television stuff that we wanted.
And I believe it was the first comedy special that was taped for HD. Remember, Joey?
Yeah, I think so.
It was on HD.
Yeah,
everything before that was like Digibeta.
Yeah, it was a big production, man. It was it was like, I don't know how much it was. It was huge, a lot of money, and but it was fun, man. And it was and that's the bug. That's what I love to do. I love creating. I love performing. I'm always going to be a comedian. Once you're a comedian, you're a comedian, right? But it's like, right now I'm getting ready to do a short, and I'm negotiating with a pretty big actor to be on this short. And it's, even though it's a short film, he doesn't do short films. He wants to be in my film, but right now he's working on something else, and I'm doing my stuff. So we're trying to get him on. But if I don't get him on, it doesn't matter. I'm still shooting my short. Then I have another short that another big actor wants to do too, and it's only because the story is good and the script is good. But I'm just trying to make things happen, and it's such a pain in the butt. But you got to keep doing it. Yeah, it's Latin Palooza, right? That's Alex Ramundo, Latin Palooza. Mike Robles, there he goes. I remember that shirt.
Yeah,
wow, that shirt.
I wasn't afraid to wear pink,
Willie
man.
Barcena, the infamous Willie Barcena.
Yeah.
Darren Carter, Latino.
But you guys, getting back to where it all started, you guys did something special. You guys launched something special. I believe the vibe or the energy that was around that time wasn't like the energy that's going on now. There is a movement, Mike, and there is a movement. Joey, you're out here because you see us a lot, where like now we're actually helping each other out more. You know what I'm saying? Look at Joey flossing with the refrigerator and the wine.
Yeah. You flop, Joey. I'm gonna flop too. Okay, I'm gonna flop.
Yeah.
Not only wine. Not only wine, but you got the aerator on the wine.
You see that? My wine for that energy.
Let me put that over here. I'm sorry.
So it's like we're traveling now in like circles. Like a few years ago, we wouldn't have been able. I don't think you would have seen an Erik Rivera helping out in Orlando Leyba being at Jesus Trejo's 30 minutes special or 1 hour special. Edwin Licona with the Entre Nos brand being okay with Ida Rodriguez going and doing her Showtime and her Netflix at the same time that she's also doing the Entre Nos. Him being cool with me going, I believe I went to the Ha Comedy Festival, which is also Latinos and stuff like that, and they also tape for HBO. I wasn't part of the taping, but I was there at that festival too. And everybody's just cool with it across the board, and we actually celebrate each other for that win. So I do believe things are changing. I do believe that those ropes are being thrown back. They're just going to be thrown back differently. Like me, I can't wait to get to that level where I can throw ropes back and just have title card executive producer, and I'm not even showing up to shoot. Right. I'm just getting those mailbox checks.
Yeah, also, I do want to point out, like, we look at shows the way they were done before. I know Paul Rodriguez had a show on network television. George had a show on network television. Even Cristela. And if you look at the ratio of Latin writers to white writers, they were really bad. And if you look at Mr. Iglesias has a Latin heavy room with Chris Garcia, who's a fellow stand-up comic. Jesus Trejo is in there. He's also on the show. So, Peter Murrieta, like, he's got,
how many stand-up comedians does he have?
Alfred Robles does Punch Up, and he's been on the show. Jesus Trejo has been on the show. If you want to talk about other stand-up comedians, he's also helped out his buddy Joe Coy. Like, he works.
Joe Coy,
he tries to help his people out.
Okay. Well, that's what you see. No problem.
Well,
I like it. Mike Robles is petty. Mike Robles is petty.
Listen, I guess I'm hardcore Latino, man. I just kind of.
I can't be mad at Gabe.
In the words of nobody's
mad if he doesn't know me.
Nobody's mad at Gabe. I'm putting facts out there, bro. Facts. Nobody's pissed off at Gabe. Why would I be pissed off at Gabe when I launched his career? There's no reason to be pissed off at Gabe. If it wasn't for Mike Robles, he would be where he was.
Your movement, Mike, is more about, like, I see what you're doing, but I need you to be more aggressive about it. I need it to be more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like I've always had this thing where I say, joking around, when I do get that show, I'm gonna make sure that my friends that don't have a sidecar get a sidecar. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or like You know what I'm saying? Let's make sure that Orlando gets health insurance. He has kidney stones. Let's put him in. How many episodes does he need to be in to get SAG insurance?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's look out for your boy. There you go.
Yeah,
a lot of things. Like
that's what I'm talking about. Looking out for your boy, man.
Yeah, just like in a lot of different ways. Like for instance, there's a lot of ways to help people in a lot of different ways, as long as you can produce something. Like I have an idea. For instance, Hollywood is known for loving the younger talent, right? And when you watch, everybody loves sketch shows, but there haven't been really a good Latino one. There really hasn't been. And but everybody's trying to get the young. Like I'm going, how about the older, more mature talent? So when I came up, for instance, I have a sitcom pilot that I did called Man of a Funny Age, and that title was actually a title I had for a sketch show, where it was going to be all actors 40 and up. We're going to be all talent, all comics who've been on forever, like Willie Barcena, Darren Carter, guys who I've, Shank Forbes, guys. Yeah, that's my sitcom. Check it out. It's on YouTube. And and I was going to be like, look, we're funny, but everybody wants young guys. So it was going to be called Men of a Funny Age. So I forgot what the fuck I was going to call it. But it was going to be highlighting guys that I started with. Like, Willie Barcena and Darren Carter and Johnny Sanchez, comics who are amazing comics, but the limelight is being lowered, and that I want popped out. I want comics like that, and even you, Erik, you've been around. Like you actually been around forever. How long have you been doing comedy?
Man, Joey, stop trying to age me, Joey. I'm still in the industry. Don't, Joey, don't try to.
You still got that little baby face, so you're lucky, dude.
Yeah.
Joey's trying to Mike Tyson and put me against the ropes. Come on, Joey, don't do this to me.
No, but the thing is, comics who've been around, there's nothing more. I'll be honest, there's nothing more. When Edwin started doing, and Edwin and I've had conversations about this, but when he started doing these HBO specials, even though I wanted to end them, I really was really proud of him, because I saw guys like Erik and like Orlando and other people who were on there who I'm like, they deserve it. They're good comics. People should see them. And this is a good way to see them. Like I felt very happy. Like in my mind, I'm like, this is good. That's the kind of stuff I wanted to do. And I wasn't able to do it, but it doesn't matter. Somebody's doing it. And to me, that's what matters. Like
I'll tell you, that's Edwin Lacona, man. Props to Edwin Lacona. I wish Edwin Lacona was around when I was doing Que Locos.
I couldn't.
If me and him teamed up, God only knows where Latino comedy would be.
I could have not done Latin Palooza without him. Let me tell you how Latin Palooza happened. I'll give you this little story, right? I remember Palooza.
Jesus Christ, dog! Is this Edwin Lacona? You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Are we forgetting that he's on TikTok? Jesus Christ.
He was better before.
Hey, Edwin, if you're watching, dial in, bro. You should be in this conversation.
Edwin, I love you,
I'm gonna show you what.
Although you take a week to return my calls, I still love you, bro.
Well, this is what producing is, right? So, this was when DVDs were out, right? Everything DVD. Laugh-A-Palooza with Jamie Foxx was all over the place, everywhere on all the shelves. Laugh-A-Palooza, and I remember kept on thinking we need a Latin version of that. So, I found out Edwin was working for Image Entertainment, which Image Entertainment did Laugh-A-Palooza. So I set up a meeting with him. We went to a California Pizza Kitchen in Burbank. So I go, listen, I got an idea for a DVD special. He's all right. I go, Latin Palooza. It'll be right next to Laugh-A-Palooza on the DVD stand. And he goes, all right, that's good. Let's do it. that was it. I spoke to him he was a distributor. I spoke to him like a distributor, right? I wasn't going, oh, we got to bring all this. That was all later. It was like Laugh-A-Palooza, Latin Palooza. He's like, makes sense to me. So then we hashed it out. And then he was like, well, we could have new comics. And I was like, no new comics. I go, because if we're going to shoot one take, I can't risk having somebody sucking. I got to bring comics that I know are going to not hit the ball. And so we talked about it. And then that was it. I had the green light. So that's when I decided, okay, I was going to have Mike. I think Mike was the first guy I had on. Mike, Alex Raimundo, because I knew he was on, Latin Kings of Comedy with me. Willie Barcena, because I just knew he was going to knock it out the park. And then the fourth person, I was talking to different people, was work, and then I was working in Laughlin or Reno or somewhere, and Darren Carter opened for me, and he did all this Latin material, and I'm like, oh man, how about if I have Latin, have him be on? And then I remember the other producers that I hired to be on, who thought it was their show, was it? You know, they were like, oh, we don't want a white guy. I'm like, too late. I want him. Doesn't matter. That's what I'm gonna have. Because I just thought it'll look good on the cover, and people will think, oh, it's in English. I just remember thinking, if I have a white guy on it, people are gonna know it's in English. So anyway, so that's what, the funny thing is, okay, I wonder, like, it was. I remember Circuit City and Best Buy. They would have Latin Palooza in the Spanish section. And I was so pissed, man. I would go to every store I could find, even when I was traveling. I would go, I would take them, and I would put them next to Latin Palooza where I wanted it. And it was just, I would just move the stuff myself. See, because that's what a producer does, son. Right. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm drunk right now. All right.
So that all was up. So Edwin helped you out with that project?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying? Edwin Licona, that's on TikTok?
Yes. Yeah. And he told me it was TikTok. He goes, it could only be 8 seconds long. And obviously, yeah, he greenlit the project. And
the project, bro, the project.
The project. He greenlit it, and we did it, and you know, and we didn't let him down, because there was a lot of other people, because he talked to me. He said, listen, man, I finance other projects, and the next meeting I have with these people, they drive up in a Hummer, but yet the production is shit, right? They get a certain amount of money, they keep all that money and buy nice things, and they put a little bit amount of money in the production. I'm the opposite. I put every dime on the screen, every dime. I don't, because that's how you make a good production. You make sure what looks, because the thing is this, I don't care, like, for instance, when it comes to production, I don't care if it's about me or not about me. I don't care about any of that. I just want it to be good. And I want it always, I want everybody who's on it to be proud of it. To go, I'm proud to be part. So when I make a call and go, hey, do you want to be my next project? Go, yeah, I'll do it, because I know you do good shit. And there's so many people out there who do horrible crap, horrible on TikTok. The problem is it's just horrible. And I'm like, oh my God, how there are people that I know that have so many projects out, and they're doing this and doing that, and they got this and they got that, and it's all garbage. And I'm like, I mean, God bless them, but I'm like, dude, it sucks. Who are you blowing to get all this done?
Right.
I'm like, it's horrible. But anyway, that's it. I feel better now.
And a lot of that stuff is horrible to you and me, but it's like they're just dialed into their fan base, which is one of the main things. Again, different era that we're living in, because I come from no MySpace, no nothing, to now seeing it now, how you said you could do a TikTok video and change, you know what I'm saying? I make fun of Edwin Licona because he's on TikTok, but what he does really on TikTok is that he puts up our clips from the Entre Nos series, and we have, you know, white ladies from the Midwest voicing over our bits. You know, they're taking the audio from our bits, and there's this wonderful white lady in the Midwest. I can't think of her name. I think it's Sherry.
Sherry Navoy.
Yeah, she's Sherry Navoy. She's voiceovering all these Latin comics. She's using our voices and doing these creative videos in her neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
But see, but the thing is, that's the thing though. Why is it that Edwin has to do everything by his goddamn self? And that's the thing that bothers me, man. It shouldn't be that way. He should just be the ringleader. But unfortunately, he's got to be the ringleader. He's got to clean the elephant shit. He's got to train the tiger. He's got to do this. He's got to put up the tent. And that's the place that we're at. But there aren't that many people that can do that. Back to Mike, when you were talking about Gabriel. Gabriel may be like, look, I just want to be the star of the show, man. That's it.
Wait. Que Locos was the star of the show.
I know, but what I'm saying is he made, like, you were different. You were like, I want to be a producer. I want to create this. I want to do this. Everything. Other people may not have that ability or that skill or the desire to do it. And so the thing is, what we got to do is, like, either we find the right person that has the right desire to do it, or we have use our desire to do it. And that's for instance, and I'm not kissing up to him, But Edwin is doing the right thing.
Right.
He's doing.
Right,
He's
you're kissing up to him now.
got no. The budgets are low. Everything is on a small dime, but he's making a big. He's taking a small project or small concept, and making it big. Because
I think you're pushing for your own Entre Nos special, bro. That's what it sounds like.
Nobody cares. Nobody knows the deal. Nobody knows who you got paid. You got paid. Nobody knows what the budget was. Nobody knows.
And one of the things to cut in on that is going back to what Mike was speaking about earlier. Is again, I repeat it. He has allowed us to be like we created a family, but I don't have financial stock into the company,
right.
But I do have my stock that's in there because my special travels with an HBO badge on it, and it travels with an Entre Nos badge on it also. So I want the brand to always look good. So what do? I recommend so and so, which I know he's going to do an outstanding job, and that's all. That's my way of throwing that rope back. And I also have that access that it's like, hey, man, I just came up with this idea for this show. What do you think? And that door is always open for guys like me and Erik.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I think we're living in a different era too. And I'm not trying to give the older generation an out, but I think when, at 10, 20 years ago, the industry was so divisive where it was like, oh, there can only be one. Like you said, Joey, every year it's like, oh, this is the Latino year. And we don't see it happen. They pick up one show and it just becomes that there can only be one. So sometimes those people have that mentality of like, oh, I got to look out for number one right now. I can't throw the rope back because I'm scared of losing this position because they're only giving away one. And now you got guys like me and O who, we recommend guys. And Edwin, and I'm going to give you guys a peek behind the curtain. Edwin and I have had coffee a couple of times and he's always asked me what my interests are, what I'm trying to do in the industry. And to the point where the last batch that he shot, I'd expressed interest in directing. He let me shadow the director, and I got an assistant director credit because it was one of those things where he was like, "That's an amazing tool to have. I'm going to try to help you as much as I can to achieve those goals that you want." And I was like, "Oh, cool."
I'm really glad he did that. Yeah,
because we like back to your point, we do need guys to be in those positions of producer, director, creators that we don't have.
Right. No, and that's the thing is and I'm not just saying this because I'm Latin. Latin people are some of the most creative, freaking talented motherfuckers on this planet, man. And we truly, truly are, because we have a foot in the mainstream world and we have a foot in it's changing now with other people, but it's like in the urban world. You know what I mean? We're urban enough, but we're also they're light skinned,
right?
Except for Orlando, but we're all light skinned, and so we can do a lot more, man. Like we can do so much more than we're already doing, and it's like I just want somebody to pick up a torch and just do it more. And I'll be honest, like what Edwin is doing is great, but before Edwin, it was just Mike. Now Scott Montoya did a lot of specials. But Scott Montoya, even though he did the Latin Kings of Comedy, Scott Montoya wasn't focusing on the Latin realm necessarily. He did a lot for Latin people. He did. He really have. And being part of Latin Kings of Comedy was a huge thing. But the thing other than Edwin before Edwin really that was focusing just on Latin people was Mike with Que Locos and Local Comedy Jam. And it's like, what are the gaps? When's the next one? What, another 20 years, man?
20 years, yeah.
Then I'm going to be way too old to be on it. So the point is, at least now I can still dye my hair or whatever. But the point is, it's like we really need, if your thing, Erik, is you want to direct or you want to produce, you got to do it, bro. Don't. There's no excuses. If you have to shoot something on your phone, do it in your phone and get it done. Edit it, cut it, do everything. There was a point. I remember one time I was telling my girlfriend, I just want to own enough equipment to shoot my own project. I didn't want to own anything. All I owned was some editing stuff, but I didn't own camera. I didn't own anything. And little by little, I got a camera, I got a light. Now I have a storage facility with all my equipment. I can shoot a movie by myself if I want. You know what I mean?
And you have to like also like what I did, right? Like I didn't know anything about production behind the camera, but I had the Univision crew who was doing it, and man, I studied them, every move, asked all these questions. So everything I learned about production was from these guys. And these guys were, I don't know if you remember the Christina show, Don Francisco. I had the top directors and cameramen, and I learned a lot from them. That's how I learned about production. It was a free education. So if you can get around Edward Lacona when he's doing his HBO specials, watch behind the camera.
And if I only
you're going to learn a lot.
That only opportunity to do that, I would love to do that. But yeah, so the point is if you guys want to do it, do it. Like Erik, honestly, don't let anything do it. Don't, people always go, how'd you? I'm like, I just did it, man. Like almost every project I've done, not all of it. Like, I've paid myself. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. People ask, what?
And you still have money left over for that fridge.
Yes.
Yeah. I hate to cut us off, but Joey's fridge is giving us the light here. So, but dude, I definitely want to get you guys back on, talk some more, because you guys, like me and O said, we weren't just blowing smoke up your ass. You guys really paved the way and opened doors for guys like us to come in, and we're trying to open doors for the next crew coming up, the next wave coming up behind us.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
And look, helping other. Look, we all recommend comics to other shows and to bookers and to club owners. We all do that because that's what we do. We need to. If it's in our, we don't have to do it, but if it's in our wheelhouse, we need to do more. We need to start building. Right. We need to start producing things, man. I remember when I saw Melissa Villaseñor for the first time ever. I'm like, I want to manage her. I've never wanted her to be a manager. I just thought she was the most talented girl I've ever met in my life. She was in the Laugh Factory. I gave her some time on stage and she killed it. And I was like, oh, I want to manage her. And then Willie Barcena was there too. He goes, hey, me too. Because she was just so talented. So when she got Saturday Night Live, I'm like, I knew that years ago.
Right.
On that years ago. Damn, I should have tried to manage her. But it's like we sometimes we need to also do more things than just one thing. You know what I mean? Like comedy to me is the easy part. That's I just get on stage and just do what I do. The other stuff is where I got to do homework and I got to study and I got to read and I got to learn this and I got to learn that and I got to cast people and I got to do this. And to me, that's fascinating. I love it. I love that.
Yeah, but I think that's what this lockdown has taught a lot of us. We have to start working on those other skills because stand up can be taken away just like that, man.
Corona just did stand up.
Yeah.
Think about it. Right? Corona just really, like I did. It was so funny once the things got better. I went to Florida. I did a big show in Florida. The next week they closed down. Then I went to Sacramento. I did shows in Sacramento. The next week they closed down. I'm like, either I'm bad luck or something's happening to comedy, man.
All right, fellas. Before you guys go, Joey, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can go to Joey Medina Comic. One word, Joey Medina Comic. Check that out. You can find my Facebook, Twitter, MySpace. And I'm just kidding. I don't want to say. But Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that is Joey Medina Comic. Check that out, please. Thank you.
Go check him out, everybody. Not only super funny, but just a great guy, dude. You gave me my first stage time when I came out here. You had me coming by the club. You were throwing me spots, and I'll never forget that. Man.
Want the fridge? You get it at Best Buy. You get some Joey about my appliances.
Mike, where can people find you, man?
Well, MikeRobles.com, very simple. Social media is Mike Robles Buzz, and it is the 20th anniversary. I don't know if you can see this, Que Locos. So if you want to be part of the team, Que Locos, that's where you can find them. If not,
there you go.
We appreciate everybody who supported the show for 20 years. Yeah,
go check out the website. Go support the show. And then, Mike, I'm expecting to see some kind of 20th anniversary or 25th anniversary show once this is all done. Man,
well, you know what? I'm going to talk both of you guys a rope and have you on that show as the next generation. I'm officially going to get, like, the Olympics, that torch. I'm going to go on stage and pass you and Orlando that torch to carry on Latino comedy, man. That's how much confidence I have in you guys.
Love it, man.
Hey, guys, again, thank you from my end. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. And that was just your first half. We still got a second half. I'm looking forward to see what else you guys come up with. And in any way I can help you, I will be there for you because I owe you part of my career, the both of you.
Thank you.
Check out my new short film that's going to be out soon called Beautiful Violence, starring somebody with a big name. You don't know who it is yet. I sound like Trump now. But yeah, people are saying Check that out.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next week.
All right, take care.